to me, and I did a little crump. For those who don't know, crump is a style of dance, not anything naughty or...
I think it's probably on the webcam, isn't it?
Probably is, actually. I think I could have just let myself into a crump nightmare.
Jude, what's the latest on the now motionless corpse of Steve Merchant?
I think he's dead.
Okay.
Well, he's certainly bored.
Dan, what do you think?
I thought Cadence Weapon was... I was going to make the gag about being aggressive and Canadian, but I used that when I was throwing over to you, so now I've got nothing.
It's a whole different ball game, isn't it?
Call up Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Let's see what we can get on that.
This is just...
When do you think anyone's sending a text?
I actually do feel like the listeners, like I've died. I mean, this is
no text.
Wait, Dan,
what?
I'm back in action.
All right, sorry.
That is some of the worst feeling I have ever heard. I mean, I'm sorry, but I've had disrespect from Harry since we began this show about my shoddy workmanship and also my rapping. And frankly, what was that? I mean, you knew it was happening. I thought it was going to be prepared. I thought there'd be perhaps a droll anecdote.
We should have had some warning.
What do you mean? I told you at any moment this could strike. This has proven exactly why you have to draft in an Alan Carr. Because you boys have got no idea. Sammy made a decent stab at it, but she was left floundering. What was the Moose reference?
Hey, come on. When you draft in Alan Carr, you give him 2 weeks notice that you're going to be away, and you pay him like an enormous sum of money. We're getting like 12 quid, and you just fall over after a song, and we're supposed to step up to the plate. What is this?
And what was difficult was that all the brilliant banter that we had planned was thrown because we were right in the middle of the pigeonhole section.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, we've got to tell people what we think about new music, so I didn't want to.
go into the
destroy
music
that,
anecdote.
Yeah, because they might not have known what we thought about Cadence Weapon, and then where would they be?
I think
terrible.
you've proven, though, that I am an invaluable member of this show. And,
It's your name on the door, Steve. It's your name on the door.
If for only that, then this show has been worthwhile. Thank you very much indeed for listening. We will leave you with some Stephen Malkmus from his current album. This is a track called Gardenia. We'll be back next week. Hello indeed, Steve Merchant here. Come on, you had to do that link. There's no other way out of that track. Steve Merchant's Six Music, Steve Show with me. Steve Merchant, what do you need to know about me? Well, went for an allergy test this week. Nurse put lots of little pricks in my arm, and I'm now allergic to cats and dogs and dust. So be warned.
How are you going to avoid dust?
Very difficult to avoid dust.
Yeah.
Talking of little pricks, that was one of them. Harry is here in the studio. Also, we've got Rufus and Sammy. Good. Thank you very much indeed for coming in. A little round of applause for yourselves. G yourselves up. How's it going? All good. Harry, you work in a bank. Just a quick introduction.
Yeah, I work in a bank.
What's happening in the backland at the moment? Pretty tricky.
Well, it's the start of the tax year, so a lot of work on generally.
Thanks.
But obviously with markets credit crunch, as you like, things are just a bit frantic, to be honest.
Thanks very much.
It's nice to come in on Sunday for a bit of relief.
Yeah, and you've been seeking out new music.
Oh, God,
Yeah, we'll be looking forward to some of that later. We've also got Super Posh Rufus.
Hi, Steve.
You were just summarising yourself before we came on air. I think it's the perfect summation for people who perhaps don't know who you are.
I weave, dive, and enjoy every possible felicitation of the tapestry of our world.
Sure.
And I press my trousers, shine my shoes, and wear just the right amount of aftershave.
Perfect. That sums you up impeccably. And we've got the lovely Sammy. Can you, in perhaps a few words or less, summarise yourself for the new listener?
I'm from the north. That's pretty much all you need to know. I'm quite short, and my fringe is about 2 or 3 centimetres too long at the minute. I
it
can't
is
really
annoying.
see. I feel a bit like a shaggy dog.
You've got one of those fringes that annoys me, and I don't even have it.
It's getting to that length where I'm either going to have to get my father to cut it or actually pay money to another person to cut it, which I begrudge.
Sure.
We were actually saying that we were going to get haircuts next week in advance of Super Sunday, because we want to be looking our best.
Big Super Sunday next week. We've got, is it Gary Lewis?
Yeah.
And we've also got Mr. Billy Bragg?
Yeah.
Next week, double session. This week is worth staying tuned as well, because Captain will be in session later on the show. The Beloved, I was looking up The Beloved, right, online, and it says on Wikipedia, now I don't know if this is true, I've got no evidence, I cannot seem to verify this, that The Beloved, in 1983, John Marsh placed an advert in the music press, which read as follows: I am John Marsh, founder member of The Beloved. Should you too wish to do something gorgeous, meet me in exactly 3 years' time at exactly 11 a.m. in Diana's Diner in Covent Garden, and we will form a band. And supposedly, some people showed up, and that's how the band got formed. Now, I've got no evidence of whether that's true. Jude, do you have any idea?
No idea.
64846 Stephen.6music. I'm genuinely intrigued by stories like that. I genuinely would hope that that is how you have formed, you know, a sort of mid-level electronic band from the 80s and early 90s. But it also reminded me, and you read about this group of people that met up, I think was it last week at Liverpool Station, to sing Rick Astley. Are you aware
yeah.
of this? Rick Astley now has become some kind of massive internet phenomenon. Is this right? Where what's it called?
Rickrolling.
Rickrolling, where you sort of you put something on a website and it suggests that you're going to see some nudie ladies on another site or some such, and you click over and it's just a video of Rick Astley singing his big hit, which was Never Gonna Give You Up. And so apparently he's got like sort of 7 million hits or something online. He's just like the biggest phenomenon in the world. Anyway, so at Liverpool Street Station, and I don't know how these things how this kind of got organised, but just hordes of people turned up, mingled with the commuters, and then at a particular time, maybe 6 o'clock, they all started singing Never Gonna Give You Up, and then obviously other people joined in, and off it went. I can't help but feel that, again, this is a perfect example of how you can use modern interactivity to combine something beautiful. But I'd love to know, is there anyone listening who was either at Liverpool Street Station or joined in the big sing-along? I'd love to know how I can get involved next time. I'd hate to miss out next time we're doing something like that.
But it's rolling on and on, isn't it? 'Cause it was it happened at a baseball match in the States. Like the whole crowd was singing it. It's just.
Yeah, no, I think you've been misinformed there. I think that due to Rickrolling, the website was trying to run a test on what its new tune, its new anthem should be, and lots of people sort of made the suggestion of Rick Astley, although I don't think actually it was chosen. Apparently got booed when it got played. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, were you there? 64046, Stephen.6music@bbc.co.uk. If you were in Liverpool Street Station, let me know. I'd love to know, maybe I can get involved next time, and maybe if we're doing a hip-hop tune, well, I could lead the sing-song. Debut album is apparently released in May. That's the Ting Tings, and that will feature on it. That's Not My Name. Steve Show, Six Music with me, Steve Merchant. Sammy, you were saying you've been a member of one of these gangs who just turn up somewhere and hassle.
They're called
people.
flash mobs.
Flash mobs.
They don't hassle people. That's the whole point. The idea is to get people to join in. It's one of these things that you're probably not going to be able to get involved with, Steve, because it involves technology, i.e. Facebook.
Ooh, slow down.
Yeah, I know.
And so what, you're a member of them, and because it obviously sounds threatening, flash mob, I can't help but feel it sounds like hoodies, what hoodies are up to. I'm being led to believe that hoodies are terrorising the nation. I've often looked out from my ivory tower to see mobs of them wandering over place. And so what happens with the flash mob? How do I get, what if I were to be involved?
I think there's one in every region. I'm part of the Newcastle one, so you probably have to join the London one. And they message you every now and then and say, this is what's happening on this day at 3 p.m. exactly. We're all going to do this. Don't leave any mess behind, and then go home. That's it. That's the rule.
And have you done any yet?
I did New Year's Eve and the countdown for New Year's Eve in May last year.
Right.
Near the monument in Newcastle.
I'm confused, I don't see how that...
Well, we did the countdown and all sang at Auld Lang Syne and joined arms, and there must have been about 1,000 people, and it's a small city centre.
Yeah, wow.
And everyone looked a bit baffled. Some people did join in, including most of the homeless people in Newcastle. It was lovely. We all just seemed really happy for about 5 minutes and then dissipated.
The homeless people thinking, wow, that year went by a lot quicker than I thought. Extraordinary. And
looking at their bottles in a comical way.
Like in a James Bond film or something, when he emerges from the sea in one of his underwater cars. There's always that scene, someone drinking a bottle of XXX whiskey, looks at it, and then throws it away as if to say, I'll never drink again. Yeah. Of course. And so it sounds like it was quite good fun. And do you sort of talk and interact and communicate, maybe go and have some cheese and wine with the people afterwards, or you just all disappear again?
Not talk and not look like you're gathering for something, because then it looks like something's about to happen. The idea is to just kind of be hanging around and then all go into something for about a minute, 2 minutes, and then all disappear.
But how can you be certain that when you start singing Auld Lang Syne, other people will start singing it? Isn't there that... I think
it's normally done around a clock, so you can hear or see something, so everyone will start at the same
But I'm saying that what if you start, maybe it's just a giant practical joke via Dom Jolly, and he stitched you up. There's normally a leader,
and sometimes the leader will give signals to do certain things.
Yeah.
And obviously the leader is the one who sends the emails out in the first place, but there hasn't been one for a while, which is sad.
You want to be careful, some sort of leader emailing you, telling you things to do. Before you know it, you'll be married, you'll have like 4 kids, you'll be living on a big ranch in Texas.
Yeah.
It's not a good...
But you'll just be one of 16 wives.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there'll be an ugly siege involving the CIA,
the FBI,
and mortar
exactly.
bombs. Yeah.
It sounds like the sort of thing that would repulse you, Rufus. A man of your sort of decorum and gentlemanliness. That's not the British way, is it? Just to have a big sing-song in the street?
No, I'm a big fan of that. The only difficulty I've got with flash mobs is I've met someone who helps to run the London ones once, and we were having a conversation in the pub about what we were up to, and she asked me about my acting and so on. I talked about it. I said, what are you up to? She said, well, I'm very much involved in the flash mob thing, and talked about that for a bit. And I said, yeah, but what's your job? And she said, well, the flash mobs, that's That's one.
That's
Like,
filling up a lot of time.
Please tell me how you get paid for organising loads.
She sounds like the sort of woman who doesn't get up till 3 in the afternoon and probably sleeps on a mattress on the floor with no
Yeah,
bed.
I'd imagine that's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, she probably was in a job centre or something, and that's how she earns her money. But the flash mob thing, and the flash mob was more interesting than job centre probably. But I did get a bit confused about why that was her job.
I doubt she ever sleeps. She's probably just awake all the time, waiting for the next call to come in.
Yeah.
You're
Exactly,
needed
yeah,
at some
yeah,
random
yeah.
location to,
Yeah.
I don't know, wear a big jumper or something.
Exactly. Have a pillow fight.
Well, let me know. Get on the touch on the text 64846 Stephen.6musicabuse.co. Yeah, if you are organising maybe a new flash mob and you need maybe a big celebrity face and I mean literally a big celebrity face. There's a big old face I got on me, and I'm towering 2 foot above the rest of the mob, like a sort of, you can dance around me like a maypole. I noticed you've got some interesting looking books there.
I have,
Rufus.
Steve,
Maybe
yeah.
I should play another tune. I'll come back and find out what
Okay.
you've got them for.
Yeah.
Interesting. From his 1970 Moondance album, that's Van Morrison, of course, and Into the Mystic. Steve Show, 6 Music with me, Steve Merchant. So Rufus, you brought a couple of interesting looking books there. I can't help but notice one of them's called The Last Englishman.
That's right. We're going to get onto that one, Steve. These are 2 books that I've stolen from my mother's charity book fair for the Elizabeth Finn Trust for Distressed Gentlefolk.
You've stolen them.
Yes,
That seems appropriate.
Yeah, exactly. This, the first book I've decided to... I'm not doing a book review like we did towards the end of last year, but I do want to draw this book to your attention. It's called Coastwise Cruising.
Coastwise Cruising, okay.
And the author of the book... I'm just going to remove this post-it note here. The author of the book, can you read his name out?
Wow, Tim Sex. Tim Sex.
That's right.
Coastwise Cruising.
And...
Now, it's just because on the cover there, there's a bunch of people who are sort of fairly easygoing, but on a boat,
That's
perhaps
right.
cruising across the English Riviera.
Yeah.
Riviera.
Riviera.
the Riviera. And so there's a slight suggestion that it could be rude. I'm presuming it's not to do with cruising in any.
It's nothing to
untoward
do with
sense.
cruising as you know, you and I know as urbanites.
In the modern day, yeah.
However, if you read the description, the first line on the back there, just read that out.
How to pick up a boy in varying conditions is just one of the many aspects which the author describes. And of course, on radio, the ambiguity there made all the more humorous, but of
Yeah.
course it's boy, as in a boy that you would find floating in the water.
It is, yeah. How anybody could end up with the name Tim Sex,
Yeah.
spelt simply S-E-X, and then to write a book about cruising just seems completely extraordinary.
Tim Sex. That just is the most extraordinary name ever. Is that a nom de plume?
I can't
Do you
believe
think his real name's Timothy Gonad? And you thought that just sounds weird.
I think Marilyn Manson turned down Tim Sex
Yeah.
as a stage name.
Yeah.
Tim
Too
Sex.
improbable. No one's going to believe that's my real name. But Tim Sex.
But they often, obviously, surnames are often supposedly derived from what your parents used to do.
Fletcher, Cooper, and Thatcher,
merchant,
and so on.
obviously.
Yeah.
Although we can find no evidence of any single merchant in my family.
Really?
We did a little bit of digging around, and we're all paupers. There's not a single person who's risen above the the proper scabby working classes of the 19th century in my entire family. How we've got the name merchant, we've obviously just adopted it in an effort to sound classier. Rather like Tim Sex, he's probably a very dull man. Spends a lot of time just in riverboats.
The other book I've got is a book by a man called A.D. Wintle, and it's called The Last Englishman.
A.D. Wintle?
Wintle.
Of course.
As you know, Steve, being an Englishman is something I take very seriously.
Yes.
Being a gentleman and someone who, pays close attention to chivalric code. This man is the most extraordinary person who's I've even opened a book by. A chapter begins with things like, it is impossible to be unhappy on the back of a horse. Every day I get on my knees and thank the good here. There are only 2 entries from my diary on 2 days in June 1919. June the 19th, Great War Peace signed at last. June the 20th, I declare private war on Germany. I was duty officer at the War Office when the announcement came through, and I immediately registered a vow to continue the fight. Whatever the rest of the world thought, I knew the war with Germany was not over. It was merely lying low.
Come 1939, he must have been so pleased with himself.
He was pleased at Punch, but he ends up in Wormwood Scrubs in the 1950s. It's quite an extraordinary story, and there are some pictures of Mr. Wintle here. He was a spy, lost a leg, lost an eye in the First World War. But I do, like you, Steve, I get on my knees every single day and thank the Lord
for being
I was made
English. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice that you've been stealing things from charity events.
Yeah.
What have you stolen from a charity event? Well, not getting tough. 64846. We have to pause for a